Sean from Middle Grounded. If you don't recognize the name Jason Blaha, don't worry about it. He's a fake and a fraud I exposed in my incredibly fake true stories of whoever it be, Frank Dukes, Bart Vale, etc. Jason has appeared in the Jorrly Joran streams. I don't know what the context is, but I do know who this guy is. And that's who we're going to be talking about today. This is based on my research. See, Jason has overcome what is apparently an incredibly debilitating disease to continue to powerlift apartment buildings connected with the telephone pole and be basically a CIA ninja. He has been exposed time and time again, but he's still out there training in imaginary martial arts. Baha claims to be a badass with 2 black belts that he has continuously refused to disclose the styles that they are in. He's also accused of allegedly taking a disability check while working close to, if not a full-time job, which is a no-no. He has reportedly threatened those who questioned him for outing that he is another guy living in a fantasy world. He is just like thousands of what are sadly people related to martial arts who might exploit its allure and mystique to market themselves. Like I said, Ashita Kim, Bart Vale, etc. But he's far worse in his claims. He's not a victim like John the Jam Man Desick might have been. Someone took something he said and sensationalized it, presented it as if it came from him himself, and made him an MMA meme. No, Jason has lied to himself so many times that it is real in his head. He's out on the fitness forums. He's got different usernames. It doesn't matter what they are, but this is the kind of guy he is. He would lie. He would rather climb a tree and tell a lie than stand on the ground and tell the truth. He claims to be a championship target shooter, trained by his hero Green Beret dad starting at 6 years old. He lands headshots 100% of the time, people. That's according to him. He was almost as much of a fake ninja as Frank Dukes. Jason claims he was a mercenary assassin for the CIA and their Special Activities Division, which doesn't exist. He mispronounces their motto all the time, and he was trained at the mythical assassin farm in Langley, Virginia, with, what had to be other members of the Avengers, and I would guess that Hawkeye probably asked him for his autograph, because he's Jason Blaha. Jason is apparently adept at stalking. And looking at his bald head and his neck beard, that's not a surprise. Jason says he can kill someone and make it so they never existed, and that there would be no evidence left at any spot in the crime scene. This is because he was trained in knife fighting and could kill enemy scouts in a manner consistent with movie assassins. Maybe Hollywood did use him as the mold for their CIA operatives. A man named Lane Norton brought a lawsuit against him. Blaha was such a badass in the CIA that the U.S. Embassy protected him, unlike Navy SEAL sniper Chris Kyle. Going by this claim and the insinuation he was more of a hero than Kyle, we can surmise that Ninja Blaha had more than Kyle's 160 confirmed assassinations, which he implied at one point. He also claims that he receives a special government pension with a sealed record, of course, so we can never look it up, for his amazing CIA work. Well, this explains why he can't hold a real job and assaults the public with his verbal diarrhea as a profession. Add on to what had to have been 20 years of training to become the deadliest U.S. assassin in history, and he worked as a private military contractor, recruited by the Clinton administration out of high school. Now, this is all from his mouth. The reason they recruited him was because he was the deadliest high school target shooter they had ever seen. I mean, he was just like Chuck Norris because he was sent to he was sent to fight the drug cartels in Latin American countries alone. All of which makes sense if he was able to shoot stationary targets surrounded by teachers at close range in perfect conditions. Guess what? He never was a target shooter, and the U.S. government doesn't monitor high school kids for target shooting. Then, he he was sent to the Middle East to kidnap and torture terrorists. After all of the killing, he had PTSD. And I'm guessing he really does have PTSD since his training must have been brutal when it started 20 years before he was born. Oh, and he committed war crimes, and I am not making this up. He claims he was protected from prosecution because of his hero status. One of the funniest, awesome stories was how he was pursued by attack dogs and squadrons of federal agents from one of the countries he blew up by himself. He stole a truck, fought off hordes of agents, and was taken prisoner by choice, only to have his Delta squad of commandos break him out of prison because they needed him to rescue them again. Then, Blaha was a hitman and eventually turned down an army offer to become an officer. This was a hell of a feat since he never attended West Point or most likely was busy flunking high school because he saw the value of making bullshit YouTube videos instead. He also refused an offer to be a medical doctor because of his imaginary 147 IQ, double major in psychology and nutritional science, 4.0 GPA, without studying of any kind. Keep in mind, all of this means he was training probably 40 years before he was born. He's also a former male model and street racer, all while he wasn't being the greatest competitive eater of all time. He set a record by eating over a dozen large pizzas in under 2 hours. He ate 29 pounds of food in under 120 minutes. He has played in an honor band, was an accomplished jazz musician, and he did all of this when he built hydrogen compressors. His training now must have started 60 years before birth, if you are keeping track. Jason Blaha, who claims to be an expert in bodybuilding and the greatest of all time. He claimed his 3 to 4% body fat muscle pictures were lost in a fire, but during this time he ran his own steroid lab with Walter White or his equivalent from 2000 to 2004. I am surprised the show wasn't going to be called Breaking Blaha until he disappeared into another CIA solo mission to assassinate the entire continent of South America. I kid. One of the greatest claims of this clown is that he has a full head of perfect hair and shaves it by choice because chicks dig the unique shine of his dome. Oh, he also doesn't think he would be a good pedophile even though his family has a solid history of it. There's a video out there on YouTube. I'm not going to get into it. I don't want to get into it. This is all reportedly, allegedly, but he fits into the Jorrly Lorne community very well. By now, you have to be as stupefied as I am. This guy should have been on every magazine, received hundreds of medals, and been the next president of the United States. I'm serious. Aliens have contacted this guy for knowledge. Well, maybe not, but I'm just saying. It would not shock me if he could time travel and create his own pizza-filled wormholes with his 42-inch manhood. Now, the reality check from his ex-wife via Blahapedia. He didn't actually go to Texas A&M. He went to a community college in the same town called Blinn College, probably with the intention of transferring over to Texas A&M, but he failed to be able to do so. He has 0 academic credentials in exercise physiology, nutritional science, or biochemistry outside of what he may have learned during his brief time in community college, nor has this dude ever coached anybody like he claims. Now, I could literally go on for hours, but my fingers hurt worse than Jason's trying to jam his key in his door to escape the pizza-eating paparazzi that follow him around. This guy is so delusional. Or maybe it could be a big troll on us, right? Nope. People who know him confirm that he acts as if he believes all of this happened, and he refuses to admit that he is lying when presented with scores of evidence to discredit his credentials. If Jason had done all of this, the required training adds up to no less than 80 to 100 years before his birth date in order to learn, train, become proficient at, and perform as superhuman as Jason performs that he claims. Maybe this drop of sweat on the underside of a fleaseball's excuse for a YouTuber really is a time traveler. Well played, Jason, and thank you for the unintentional laughs.